Cool. So I just finished looking at your progress for your GUI interfaces using tkinter for week 15. So it seems like from looking at it, you all are making good progress, and that's awesome. So here's what I want to do. I want to walk you through week 16 and week 17, just conceptually, but more so week 16, because we are adding some new content. Well, I am adding some new content you wouldn't know from before, but I've been talking about this, so this shouldn't really be a new thing for you. So this video, the week 16 attendance, will serve for the video for the code along for OOP part 1 and week 16 learn together. So first in here, so I've given you the video here that I want you to work through, and we're going to work through, in this case, the first 40 minutes of this video. And I actually think we're not going to do the end of it, but definitely check it out, because I think it gives another good example of how to implement classes and another discussion about an example. So what I want you to do here is that, what this means is let's just slow down, Rio. Create a directory inside your private repo called OOP. Okay. In that directory, create a file called redundant but OOP. Okay. So sorry, let me actually open the right folder here for our class just to show you, because I did this for my example. All right, so in your private repo, this is your code along, right, OOP, and then in here, OOP. So what I did, and I kind of recommend you do, you can do this however you want, but actually I leave the code that I wrote before, okay, just comment it out and then code along with everything else. Of course, taking notes is really good here as well, right? So first, that's the structure I want you to use. And now going back to my instruction. So you'll start coding along, and then at the 5-minute 47, right, you'll do your first commit, right? So you do a git add, and then you do a git commit, and here's the message I want to see. So ultimately, when you get all the way to the end, which is the 40-minute part of the video, you'll have done 3 commits. So just make sure you stop, right? That's why I'm doing this video, to help you do that. Because it's a kind of a logical break, right? He does a class, dog class, he does a student and a course class, and then the last one he does a pet, a cat, and a dog, and shows the idea of inheritance. Again, keep in mind that it is not a requirement for you to use classes for your dev too. But if you want, totally good example, okay? Or totally good content here to help you. So make sure, right, you give me the link like normal, all that's the same. So for the learn together, what I want you to do here is actually, and this is the one I said video to come. So here's what I want you to do is, in your public repo in week 16, create a new file called class.py and come up with a parent class like the pet and at least 2 children classes like dog or cat to demonstrate your understanding of inheritance. Now, and I said here from your Dev 1 concept, right? So it's not that you'll use this, and you may have to kind of you'll probably make up the idea. So here's what I was thinking, like before my EV charging, I could have a class called car, and then I could have another class that would inherit off that car. So maybe year, make, and model, right? So those would be the 3 things, because I could maybe do a different car to track some of other type of costs, but then I would have a specific EV car, right? That when I create that EV car, then there are some pieces of data I would want just for that specific child class that would inherit from the parent class, okay? And then I could either do in there also the charges, or I could create another class just for the charges. So, it's not that this has to be perfect. It's that you're giving yourself an experience of taking what you've learned, taking the concepts that we've already covered as far as what you've written for Dev 1. And by the way, if you struggled or didn't for some reason, I think there's only one in here that didn't do a Dev 1, then come up with that. But I think it would really be helpful for you just to actually do this for Dev 1 specifically. I was trying to think of something else I was going to say here. I think I actually just put comments, if I remember right. Let me go look. If I remember right, for week 16, I did, right? So this was, car, ice car, EV. So I didn't actually just note the other piece, right? So I could use it this way. So a car class, and then an ICE is internal combustion engine. That's what that means, right? So I just want you to give yourself another experience of understanding how to implement a class with a parent class and a child class, showing the idea of inheritance using the concepts that we've covered here. Okay? Again, for full points, right? So give us a link to your PY file. I'm going to take this off because this video will serve as that instruction. Okay, so hopefully that gives you that. And here's what I'm thinking for our last code along, which is next week. I mean, really, right? Hard to believe. Next week is our last code along. And I'm actually thinking of kind of making it a short one, again, to give you a little more time to work on your dev too. So I'm thinking what I will do here is just have you do, unless I find an OOP that I really, really like. I did find one that I thought did a better job of showing how to get the user input from the user and then instantiate the class. But that's how you would approach it. So just FYI, right? So if you're going to implement a class for your dev 2, the inputs, the parameters that will be passed into the classes, their arguments with substantiating those objects, those would be your inputs or variables that you've set on that class as well. So just FYI. But I think what I will do here is just do the one video. It's about 10 minutes long. The same gentleman who did the Tkinter for us, but he actually just briefly goes over the idea of how to use classes for Tkinter as well. I think that will be kind of a good way to round it out. And then week 17 will actually learn together will actually be just your course feedback, which is way important to me. I am in the process, just to let you know, I will record a video for next week as well, but just as a preview. I am in the process of redoing this course to align it with a machine learning course. Students can still, of course, take Python without having to take machine learning. But in a suggestion Andrew gave me, which is using the Jupyter notebooks, because you can actually use that right inside of VS Code, and it's super simple, and it basically just gives you a nice, simple way to have that functionality of a Jupyter notebook, which if you don't know what that is, it's just a way to write not just Python code, a lot of other code out on the web, and to have it just run out on the server side. So anyway, I'm redoing this course for that, but just to align with there, but I'm actually also choosing a new Python class. I'm going to be looking at some content because I said I'm not going to use the automate the boring stuff. I'm just rolling into something new. I've already started looking at some courses for that. So if you have any suggestions you'd like to give me, that would be awesome. Okay. Hopefully you all saw the video or in the link I put out on Monday for the signups for the Dev 2 code reviews. So if this is the first time you've heard of that, go check Discord or send me an email and I will send that out to you. Otherwise, have a great weekend. Peace out.